At to quote Jackie Gleason, and away we
You
go.
go.
There you go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends, 226 episodes under our belt. Everything is wonderful. Everything is great. Last week, if you tuned in, you might have thought I was high on drugs, and you probably would have been correct. Uh, Uh, so you go back now. Listen, I've talked to a few people, and basically, I haven't really had a chance to see how many people watched the show last week. But the reality is this: is that if you haven't watched this show and you're listening to it now, at least watch the first 10 minutes so you understand what it's like to have finished with a prostate cancer treatment of a major proportion, which is called brachytherapy. And one last thing I'll say, and we're going to move on or not, is that get your PSA blood test checked, as soon as possible, as many times as you can, and as often as you can. It's a wonderful thing. The sleep that you get is just phenomenal and great. And I mean, wow, the sleep, yummy, great stuff. So, hi, everybody. What's going on? What's new and exciting? So, before I ask any more questions, I want to turn my attention to Greg Baker because he is getting ready to be blasted by a hurricane, right? Is that right?
Yeah, actually, it was good news from where I'm at. A little better news. It moved farther west for us in the Tampa Bay area. So by tomorrow, I'm on Starlink right now. My internet. That's the reason why I popped off. I had it took me a while. Took me a moment for my Starlink to sync back up. So
So how is
uh,
Starlink?
it's good.
Remind me when you're done with your report to talk to you about Starlink.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good. It's expensive. That's
Is it?
that's the downside. Yeah, yeah. It's $100 a month. So,
Huh. Well, I'm
but
Well,
paying
let
nine
me let
dollars.
me give you a definition of expensive. Expensive, expensive, and costly. So if you could afford it, it's costly. If you can't
okay.
afford it, it's expensive. Okay?
And
All right.
what's your uplink and downlink?
Uh, uh, Last time I tested, I was at 400,
Oh
400
wow,
up and down. You know.
Both ways?
Yeah,
Holy
that
shit.
that's
yeah. It's
damn
good.
good. That's
I'm on
much better
I,
than
I'm on Spectrum and I pay for a little higher speed because when the kids were here, they all watched movies. And I get like 200 and something down and about 30 up, and I pay like 85 a month. And that gives
Well,
me a voice
we get
over
good
IP phone
coverage
that I
in
never use
Florida.
either.
It depends on where you're at.
Right.
It depends on the number of satellites. There's a ton of Starlink constellations around Florida because of the launches here. So on the
Uh,
other
the
side of the
other
coast.
the other
So
other thing is that these are LEOs. These are low Earth orbits compared to
yeah,
geostationary. So when you have a geostationary bird like Atlantic Bird 7,
yeah, you're looking at 400 milliseconds, 700 milliseconds. You know,
exactly the round trip time on a geostationary satellite, the delay can be really awful, particularly for something sensitive like voice over IP. The
right?
LEOs are much better. I don't know what your RTT is, round trip time for an LEO, but
Right.
it's got to be substantially better than the
Oh
geostation.
yeah, yeah, it's great. But to get back to this hurricane, anyway, yeah, it's a lean. It's a category one now. It's going to be a category four by by tomorrow afternoon around 2 o'clock. It will be about 150 miles away from us. So, but yeah, so we won't get the 150 mile an hour winds, thank God. Uh, and it's going straight north. It's going to hit Tallahassee, go up, go through. It's they're shutting down Atlanta Hartsfield. Looks like tomorrow or early, overnight tomorrow or Friday night. It's going to go up straight up the valley, and decreasing in speed, but it'll be a big rainmaker up there. It's moving real fast. It's so yeah, I have 40 mile an hour winds right now. So, and they're expecting it, up to 60-mile-an-hour gusts here. So,
And that's just from your flatulence, right?
no, it's the dog. It's the
Oh,
dog.
it's
It's
always
showing up
blame
on
the
Doppler
dog. Blame the
radar.
dog. That's it. You know.
That would be a category 5.
Yeah.
So I was
So if anybody's watching this tonight or anything, if you're well, the entire state of Florida is in a tropical storm watch, and half of it's in a hurricane watch. The northern half's in a hurricane warning, and so, and then parts of Georgia and Alabama and on up, it's going to go up and hit Tennessee and Kentucky. It's going to go up through Nashville. So, but
Yeah,
if they close down Atlanta Hartsfield, it's the world's busiest airport. Any type of disruptions. If we're flying tomorrow, there's going to be some type of disruptions.
Well, my daughter's
for
flying from San Antonio to Burbank tomorrow on Southwest, so I'll tell her to beware of delays, but she'll probably be fine.
Yeah, because you got a hub in Texas for Southwest. So
Hey guys,
and it's a nonstop flight.
For all you flyers, what software do you use to keep track of your flights?
Americans.
Do you use?
I only fly on American, and I use the American, their program.
Right.
I use Flight Radar 24 to track.
Well, that's
flights.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also gives you estimated times of arrival, which I find are far more accurate than
for other people's. Yeah, I'll use that also for tomorrow to watch Daryl's flight come across. To make sure she's on time.
Yeah, but there are applications, Jan, that it will ingest your, let's say you were taking an American flight, change into a United, and then taking a Lufthansa out of Chicago. It would aggregate all 3 tickets for you into a same interface.
Well, a lot of people are saying that Flighty, Flighty, is like the cat's meow when it comes to traveling. Flighty. Have you heard of that, Chris?
Never heard of it. I'm checking it now.
Yeah, Flighty is really good. I used to use FlightAware, but now I'm using Flighty. And the best part about it is when you're traveling a lot, you could buy it by the week. So it's like $3 per week, but it's really, really, really good. They give you a free trial period, and then you shut it off. And so basically, what people say, you just turn it on for $3 when you're traveling, and it really can save your bacon.
Does it ingest hotel reservations, Jan?
Oh no, it's about airfare. It's about air. It's about traveling.
There are ones out there too that you have all your airfare plus, let's say you have a reservation at Marriott or something like that. It's all in one interface.
Yeah. You know what's a really cool app? And speaking of apps, it's called Plane Finder. Now, what the Plane Finder does is it's I don't know if it's on Android, but it's on Apple. And you open the app and then you put it up in the air. You hold the camera up, and it spots what plane. It tells you the tail number and where they're going and where they've come from. It's very, very cool. I doubt you've ever done this, Chris. I know I've done it. I've looked up and I said, I wonder where those people are going.
Oh, I just whip out FlightAware, Flight Radar 24, just pinch into where I am and figure out what kind of aircraft, 2 engines or 4 engines, and click, 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 and you can find it.
See, not everybody's an engineer like you, man.
I use flight status. I'll bring Daryl in on. I just put her flight into the flight status, and it says what time it leaves and what time it lands, and it tracks it.
Yeah, it's all using pretty much the same technology
I'm sure,
yeah. Yep.
Did they tell you if they check the water and oil?
Yes, it does. It's and it also gives you
that was
the
classic in airplane when they flip the hood over and the guy's up washing the windshield and checking under the hood of the plane, and then of course, it's a jet plane, but you had prop sounds during. I mean, that was a brilliant. I mean, that movie was nonstop hilarity.
I wonder if they show clips from that at P. Diddy's house. Hey, Joey, did you ever watch any movies about gladiators?
Oh yeah. Did you ever hang around the gym? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So we had a Southwest pilot came on one time, and they do really funny things sometimes. And he after his little ditty that he says on the microphone, he said, "Oh, by the way, the flight patio will be closed today due to high winds."
That's funny. By the way, is it true that Southwest is now going to start charging for seats or something like that? That I
No,
heard
they're assigning seats.
Assigning seats? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're you can no longer, it's no longer free seating. They I think it's starting next year. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, they announced assigned seating. Yeah.
Well, assigned, or are they going to charge?
No, assigned.
Okay. Because you said right after that, no longer free seating. So that's why.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of time till the seats in front are going to be extra. Just like you pay extra to be in Zone A.
Yeah.
He means free seating, as in they just let you grab whatever seat you want.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right.
I'm sitting next to the pilot, kind of more leg room.
I don't fly Southwest anyway, so.
I got a question for you, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Which do you think is proper when they let people on the plane? Should the people who sit in the front of the plane get on first, or should they get seated last?
Okay, that's a really loaded subject, because I have different views on that depending on what the situation is. So here's the deal. Here's what will help you explain that. I'm really annoyed at American right now because I'm a million miler at a minimum, and I still fly 50,000 miles a year. So I have a fair bit of seniority. And what really aggravates the shit out of me is they're giving away seniority boarding to people that have credit cards. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I spent the last 40 years of my life flying on American, and I should have more seniority than they do. They should give them the last section to board before they get into like the no seniority is section 4. So they should, credit card people should get on at section 4 or after section 4 before, they let everybody else on. But, I buy my tickets myself, and I don't shop price. I shop when it's convenient and the seat that I want. And I get, and as far as I'm concerned, it's all about getting on the space early. I travel with 2 fairly good sized carry-ons because all my computers go with me on the plane, and I want the top space, and I always sit in the front, and I always get an aisle. So if you're asking me, it should be the people with seniority that get on first. The higher you are on the food chain, the earlier you get on.
But the unfortunate now is, if you look at every frequent flyer program right now, they want
it's all about money.
Yeah, because what's happening is the credit card, they're making more money on the credit card kickbacks than they are on selling plane tickets.
In fact, this year, I have 3 Citibank American Airlines cards. Actually, 2. One of them is a Costco, and one of them is a personal card, and the other one's my business card, and they both go towards miles. And this will be the first year.
Bruce, what was the CVC on that one card, please?
There you go. It's 724. Yeah, no. So this will be the first year, actually, that I will, because I'm sort of sliding into retirement. I'm probably not going to make platinum by miles, but I surely will for credit cards, because I still spend a bunch on tickets, and all my monthly bills go to my credit card, and I just pay everything off at one shot once a month, and so it'll work in my favor at this point in time, but I've always been pretty against that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty pleased to announce that I was finally able to use some miles on points on getting a hotel room. I actually got a free one. I had a free night stay And I got used some points, 25,000 points, to stay at a hotel in by the hospital when I went there. So my stay at the hospital was going to be $440. Instead, it cost me nothing, and I am
Wow,
very
that's
proud
great.
to say that.
So I'll tell you, my wife flies with me a lot until she took this job full time, and I never paid for her ticket. It was always on points. And 8 years ago, when we went to Boston for my brother's daughter's wedding, we were there 2 weeks. She flew on miles, and my daughter flew on miles. The rent a car for 2 weeks was on miles, and we stayed in Marriott's for 2 weeks, and I never caught none of that cost me anything. And we usually go to Korea once a year around Thanksgiving time, and we stay in Seoul at the Marriott. They have a courtyard there that's like a really nice Marriott here, and we usually stay a week there on miles. So it's done well for me. I have done really well. In fact, one year we usually go to Korea on Korean Air because it's so damn nice. And one year I flew Annie and I first class round trip all on miles.
Wow, you're impressive. I have to
So,
tell.
well,
That is.
you know what? I work hard to get all those miles.
Yeah, Korean Airlines is really nice.
Korean Air is wonderful. Yes, I love it. Their
And the
food is
service
good.
and the
They're-
Give me
service.
Matt.
Oh, the people on the plane are all gorgeous, even the guys, and I'm not even gay.
Well, whatever.
And
The
food, and,
so
you know,
you say. So you say.
their coach seats are not like crammed in. So because we usually go coach, and it's a great airline. They do really, really well.
Mhm.
But the one time I said, hey, let's go on American. Now the funny thing is from LA you go LAX to Korea, and it's like 19 hours or whatever the hell it is, or whatever, right? Not 19, like 12 or
12
14 or
hours.
It's
something.
12 hours. I think it's
So
10
so
hours and 10 hours
so
and almost 11.
so the pisser of going on American is we had to fly at 11 o'clock at night. We had to fly to Dallas, and we arrived at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. And then we went into the Admirals Club, into the quiet zone, and we slept from like 3 in the morning till 7 in the morning. And then we went downstairs and had breakfast and got on the 9:30 or the 10 o'clock flight to Korea. And flew right over the top of Los Angeles. It's like, why couldn't you just pick us up here? So it became this all night thing, when it really didn't need to be.
They had to pick up a few Texans first.
Oh man, I just couldn't even believe it. Yeah. So American Airlines Korea flight, leaves out of Dallas. So you got to get to Dallas.
There you go.
Does JR still live there?
Who?
JR Ewing?
JR. That's I guess
Ewing.
that's first run where you were in Wagga Wagga, man. First run
JR.
television, that's it. For us, the guy's dead, by the way, I think.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's still
I know.
watching JR, huh? Wow.
No, I just remember it from when I was a kid.
I
What
got to
about,
meet him once.
All those girls that were really cute and adorable and 17 years old on the show, they're ugly as shit now.
That's right.
Oh man, they showed a picture of the girl from Friends. There have been a couple of pretty famous people like Sylvester Stallone's wife, Madonna, who haven't aged well given the amount of facial surgeries they had.
You know what? Meg Ryan didn't age well either, and I was always madly in love with Meg Ryan.
And they showed a picture of the one of the girls from Friends who was at some charity concert. Whoa, man, her face is completely disfigured, out of proportion.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's amazing how people will ruin their bodies by trying to try to prolong life or their beauty. And some people, I forgot who it was, but I was looking at somebody and they couldn't smile anymore because they had so much Botox that their face looked like it was plastic. It didn't look real to me.
Jan, the sad part about that is you and I don't have to look good. People will either like us or hate us or work with us or not work with us or whatever. And it really doesn't matter how we age, the issue with women is they age. And when they start to not look like they're 16 anymore, then all of a sudden nobody hires them and all this bullshit starts to happen. And it's pretty unfair. There's some really great lady actresses that are, in their 60s and 70s, but Helen, what's her name? She's
Helen Mirren.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's so amazing. So amazing. And she's a pretty lady too, but
And
but
Jane Fonda. I mean,
Jane
Jane
Fonda?
Fonda was just in the news again for some reason. I forgot why, but she was in the
Oh,
news.
she was going knocking on doors in Michigan or something.
She can
she
get
was,
shot.
no, she was going door to door for, election promotion.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I don't know why people do that. I don't know why they can't, I don't know why they can't believe in natural beauty and why they have to
And you
use.
want to hear the kicker is just absolutely insane. I could find the article here. I'll just do it while we're talking. It's been a fad for, let's say, a number of years for women to have large breasts, right? And so they go in and they get these silicone implants and so on and so forth to have their breast augmentation. So I'm just waiting for this article to come up. Apparently,
While you're doing that, I will give you a little tip that most women's fashions were designed by men. So high-heeled shoes, that was something that a man designed for a woman. The brassiere, something a man designed for a woman, I don't know what women designed for women, but but basically, it's society at the time.
And now the fad is to have small breasts.
Perfect.
I'm game.
That's what I have. I have small breasts. I'm proud of them. Bruce. What is that? A double D? Okay, double D. Yeah, that's it. Let's be careful now. So, did you find what you're looking for, Chris?
I have a link to it, but it's looks like the link is expired. So that's unfortunate.
Hey, I want to talk to Kurt Hare for a minute. I want to know what we're looking at. That's it, because whatever it is, it's beautiful. I thought it was actually when I first looked at it, because it's small on my screen, I thought it was rows of bleacher seats.
No, it's a wonderful EX56.
This is a wonderful
I got
console.
a feeling that might even. Well, I don't know what the number is. I knew his number 38 was in Bend. Maybe it's back. This looks like a corporate gig. So.
Mm-hmm. But look how clean that board looks. It looks brand new.
Very clean.
It certainly does.
Yeah, right? I mean, am I right? If I'm lying, I'm dying, baby. No, that's amazing. Kurt must have walked away for a second just to, he'll be right back. But for sure, I want to ask him some questions.
It was in the New York Times 6 days ago. That like the whole new thing now is that women who previously had augmentations are now getting operated yet again to have them removed, which I think you have to do anyway, right after a certain period of time. These you have to change out the silicone bags. So yeah, I mean,
the old ones especially, for sure. Oh, that's a cute dog, Paul.
Oh, there's Dave.
Thank you. His name is Sugar.
Hello, Sugar.
Hello,
David. Hello, Kurt.
Is that
hey, George? What do you know? George is in the picture, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be, here's something that you don't know, but I know, and they know. Tomorrow in Baltimore, I am going to be with Hotel California. That's it. I'm going to be with these guys.
Oh, you're coming tomorrow?
Yeah, George, I hope you brought your wallet, man. That's all I could say. That's it. That's it. No, only joking. All right. No. Where are you guys? Where are you? Are you on the bus? What's that roll-up window behind you, David?
I think they're ground, but he's muted.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Where are you? You sound like you're like by shutter doors.
I'm in the bus.
Oh, you're in the bus. Very nice.
I'm in the bus, and they're all talking, so it gets loud. But I'm back in the sleeping section now. There's my bunk.
All right. I mean, it's hard to believe. There he is. In his mid-70s, sleeping in a bunk on a bed and on a bus.
I'm in
a bunk bed on a bus. Huh?
Yeah. Fortunately, we don't really spend overnights in the bus very often, but we do on occasion.
Yeah.
I slept great on the bus.
What was that?
I slept really good on the bus.
What about
well, that smell of diesel. Smell of diesel in the morning. Success.
Who are you touring with?
He is touring with Hotel California.
Yeah, I'm signing
The
off for a minute.
Eagles?
I have to take my ear out and put a better earpiece in. I'll be right
Okay, we'll
back.
see you in a minute. By the way, I was mentioning this the other day on Robert's show. Speaking of, the Apple AirPods, which he's using, they are now officially recognized by the FDA as hearing aids, and
Yep.
Yeah, you were saying, yeah.
that could really change things. And not only that, if you have a set, you can actually have an official audiologist test so that you could test your hearing. I actually volunteered for a hearing study at one of the universities with my iPhone, and it was amazing, the hearing test. I didn't get the results, but now then when the new artificial intelligence version of the new software comes out, you will be able to get the results of a hearing test, saving yourself from going to an audiologist. There you have it. I know that's something that, you're all jumping up and down for joy hearing and listening. By the way, speaking of being on the road, did you guys hear that REO broke up due to irreconcilable differences? And then, what is it? Smashing Pumpkins? They too. Was that the other band? They couldn't stand each other anymore, so they're
Well,
not going to tour anymore.
there was a fight on
Jane's
stage.
Addiction.
Jane's
Jane's Addiction.
That
Yeah,
That's
what
was
it.
happened to
Jane's
them?
Addiction.
Yeah, Perry Farrell punched Dave Navarro on stage.
yeah, and they canceled the rest of the tour. That's it.
Yeah. That was it. It wasn't Smashing Pumpkins. It was Jane's Addiction. I mean, that's crazy. And then REO breaks up for that. I don't get it.
Can you
I
guys hear
don't
me?
get it. Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, good. I didn't know if there was a microphone on this one.
Okay.
So that's
There's
better.
no fighting with your band, right? The guys get along?
Now you're dropping out. That's
Okay, very good.
Can't hear you, man. Can't hear you.
That's good. It's best that he can't hear me. I think that's best for
So
everybody's concern.
Paul, David's out with a
Tribute band.
tribute band to the Eagles. The only one that's sanctioned, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah,
By the Eagles.
That's authorized. They're the only one that's authorized.
Oh, nice.
Right. Yeah. So he's got a great bunch of people he's working with, I would imagine.
Yeah. Jan's going to see it tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing it. And not only that, this is going to be a very interesting concert because this is going to be the first concert that Bo and I are going to.
All right.
Has she ever been to a concert before?
Never to my knowledge.
Boy, this is a month of first times for her, huh?
Oh my God, man!
She's not going to believe it.
It's mind blowing. I'll tell you a quick story. Whenever you're with somebody as much as we're together, there's always going to be conflict of interest, always, And I knew that coming. I knew that coming here with her, that I was going to be her complete lifeline to everything. If she needs something, she's completely dependent on me. If she wants to go, get her nails done, I have to be the one to coordinate it all, drive her there, take care of her, be there with her. If she wants to get something to eat, I have to coordinate that with her because she can't drive here. And back home, she's got complete freedom. She wants to go and get something to eat. Man, she takes either the car or the motorbike. Boom, she's gone. She does what she wants, and then she comes back. But here, she's dependent on me. And she's been feeling a little bit homesick and a little bit depressed over, the way life is going. And so I said, look, let's go for Thai food. And we went to this Thai restaurant.
This is going to be funny.
And we walked into the Thai food restaurant, and so far we'd gone for another Thai food restaurant as well, but it wasn't Thai food. It was, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Thai food, that's for sure. And so we walked into the restaurant, and the first thing that the guy says when we walk in the door, he says, "Swatikap," and Bo says "Swatikap," and immediately he knew. I said it too, but he knew that she spoke Thai just from the way she said hello to him. And immediately they started talking. I mean, and then, we went up and the whole restaurant was from Thailand. And almost everybody at one point or during our meal came up to talk to her in Thai. And the food was excellent. Excellent,
Oh,
excellent
so
food.
she approved, huh?
I mean, and like normally at home, she would eat something called papaya salad, which is like a papaya salad, but not the sweet kind, the green, the sour kind. And she would have at least, she would eat that at least 3 to 4 times a week. And she hasn't had one since she's left home because we couldn't find it. And they made one for her special. And
Wow.
I swear to God, she ate every bit of it, every bit of it. Normally she's very generous with the food. Hey, you want some? And she said, you want some? I could see she didn't really want to give it to me. But she did. It was really, really good. And all
Oh,
of a
that's
sudden,
good.
that was like 3 days ago. And she's like, since then, she's been floating on air. So
That's
I'm
so
really
cool.
happy
That's
I'm really
great.
happy to announce that.
So
So
this is
yeah,
in
it's all been
Vegas?
first for her.
You're in Vegas right now?
No, we're in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's where your home is?
No, I'm here for medical treatment at Johns Hopkins.
Oh.
And by the way, just an update. The treatment will be starting next week. I'll be going next week for that's when the radiation will start. The pure radiation will start. As of right now, I've had most of the treatment. I had the major treatment took place. That was last week. Go back, watch that show. I was hilarious. By the way, hey Ken Porter, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Sorry,
I
Jan.
know
I
Ken, you
think
missed me last week.
I can't.
sorry, Jan. I think I missed the news on all of that.
Yes, well, the news is that I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer very early on. That's why I'm saying get your PSA tested. That's the most important thing you could do for your health is get your PSA tested. It's a very curable, very very curable disease, and I chose to go to Johns Hopkins, the world leading authority on treatment of prostate cancer, and so far they're doing a great job.
So it's stage 1 then? It's very early?
There's no stages on
Oh, there's
prostate
no
cancer.
stages?
It
Okay.
doesn't work that way. It's by Gleason score, and it's slow growing no matter what. The only time, like they say, is that and again, I don't want to proselytize on this, but I will say that you'll either, if you're a male, you will either die with prostate cancer or from prostate cancer. So my recommendation is get it checked because most prostate cancer is very 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 slow growing. And so by the time somebody finds out that they're dying of prostate cancer, they just didn't get a PSA test. They just neglected to get their PSA test, which is as stupid as you can be. But if you don't know any better, then it's not stupid, it's just ignorance. And as they say, what is that? What do they say? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Right? So Ken Porter, tell me what's new and exciting. Give us something, give us a tidbit of news and excitement from the world of Ken Porter.
Blah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, next. All right.
Wow.
Well, that worked for me. That's a highlight of the reel. That's for sure.
Anyways, just a lot of stuff going on. Just trying to keep out the door, but just one day at a time. Keep it going.
Mm-hmm. Now, who's on the road right now? Are people still on the road? Or are they coming off the road?
Yeah.
Or
A lot of
what's
people on
happening
the
there?
road. They'll come in about the middle of October, toward the end of October.
Right, but everybody's working, and ticket sales brisk for your acts.
That I know of, no one's complained about it.
Good. Hey, there's Kurt here. He's back. So, Kurt, tell us about that board because I have to tell you, it looks like it's brand new. It doesn't look like it's an old gamble. It looks brand new. How much time have you spent on renovating that board?
He can't hear a single word you're saying because he's outside listening to stuff, and he's just got it muted.
Well, there you go. Well, he's showing it to us again.
Looks like a tent to me.
Yeah, it's a tent show.
There looks like a tent.
It's a tent show.
That's right. He's in Bend. He was doing. I think he said that last week. He was going down there to do some shows.
Yeah. By the way, Bruce, you mentioned something earlier about South Korea and some flying there. The country with the lowest birth rate is seeing soaring sales of strollers. All right. I mean,
Oh,
I'm not
that's
kidding
interesting.
now. Yep.
Oh.
And they're for dogs. In South Korea, puppy prams outnumber baby carriages, and the government, which declared a demographic national emergency, doesn't find it cute. So,
Well,
there you go.
on that note, last night we went to our local sushi place to have dinner, and oddly enough, we got out of the car, and in their small parking lot that probably might house maybe 40 cars was two big, huge SUVs. Both of them were Asian families, and they were going in to have sushi, and both of them put their dogs inside strollers. And the dogs about the size of Paul Kim's dog, and they stuck them in a stroller and zippered them in there. And I'm thinking, you got to leave your damn dog home,
Oh, they're
Jesus.
hiding them from the Haitians. That's what it is. Of course.
Yeah, really.
Hey, Paul, that looks delicious. What do you got there?
Yeah, what do you got there? It's got vanilla icing, I guess, eh?
He's too skinny. There's no meat on him.
No meat on him.
You haven't been to Haiti, then. That's all I can say.
So did you see the meme about the Southeastern Conference and the Tennessee Vol dog was going, "Don't eat the dogs, eat the cats," and pointing to Kentucky and LSU.
I haven't seen that one yet, though. I keep looking for funny ones.
There's a ton of memes out there. There's a ton of memes, just a ton. It's it's a funny thing, that when you look at it from the outside looking in, and you think, wow, can people really be thinking that? And then people really thinking that, they're really thinking it, that's what's happening. It's they actually got sued for that now, But JD Vance was an idiot. He on TV, he actually said he made up the story because he wanted to focus on immigration. And then because he said that, now they got him by the balls. And now
there are documented 911 phone calls. I'll send them to you.
Yeah, that wasn't made up at all. That's actually happened.
He said he made it up.
Nah,
he said
well,
it.
Anyway, yeah, it's been documented.
Well,
dogs and cats.
Well, all I can say is they make good eating. I wouldn't know, but I've heard. So
the big story that always went down with my grandfather when I was little in St. Louis in the 1902 or 1904 World's Fair, and they had the fair park and all stuff downtown, had all the Ferris wheel and all the stuff going on, and they had different exhibits from around the country. And the problem was the neighbor was complaining because they lost all their, they couldn't find their dogs and cats, and the Philippine contingency were eating them.
Oh my God!
Oh man!
They thought it was a wonderful country, so there's the animals so close and they could eat and have food.
That was back in the turn of the century. Yep.
Wow.
There we are.
When you go to China, I mean, China raises in northern China, they used to raise dogs, not house pets, but they used to raise dogs for the meat. But now I believe even in China, they've abolished that.
They abolished bats too?
I didn't hear that.
The wet markets don't have dogs and bats anymore.
Well, I'm sure they eat everything there, man. Like if you go to an Asian market,
a little bit of horseshoe bat soup.
I mean, even in Thailand, you'll see things that you wouldn't eat in a million years, but for protein, like they sell bugs. They sell all different kinds of bugs and scorpions and stuff like that.
In Madagascar, they eat the fruit bats. Absolutely.
So I mean, it's people eat people. I mean, hey, there are such thing. I mean, there wouldn't be a terminology called cannibals if there weren't people that were cannibals.
If it weren't for the film, that if it wasn't for Hannibal Lecter, we wouldn't even have that word in our vocabulary.
Nah, I don't know about that. I mean, there's some islands, and I know a great joke that has cannibals in it. So, it wouldn't be funny if it weren't cannibals. But first. And in case you don't know the joke, I'm just going to give you the punchline. But first, bungee. And there you go. So that's the punchline.
Is it true that
joke around that?
Is it true that rattlesnake is really good?
Tastes like chicken.
It is. It's like chicken.
What's the point? That was my whole thing. Is if it tastes like chicken, why bother?
You know, I was at a big
Just eat
party
a
one
chicken.
time and I had it and I didn't know what it was. And it does taste like chicken. And then after I found out what it was, I couldn't eat anymore because I got this mental block about snakes.
Yeah. Oh man, it's hard, you know, like because we've been brought up with a certain culture, and so when you're eating something that's out of the culture, you know, it's like, you know, but then again, I might say this, I don't like to eat anything that has a name. Like for example, like venison. You know, I saw Bambi, I can't eat venison. You know, that's kind of stuff. You know, duck. Well, I made an exception. Daffy Duck, you know, well, it doesn't look like Daffy.
What
All
about
right.
Porky Pig? There's Porky
Yeah,
Pig.
Porky Pig. Well,
And
if you didn't eat pork in Thailand, you would starve to death for sure.
Really?
That's a fact. I mean,
and
everything is
Wayne,
pork.
do you guys have a wide variety of biltong like they do in South Africa? I was in South Africa. I went to a biltong shop, and you know they had everything: kudu, you know, different kinds of impala, giraffe. I mean, you literally could get an incredibly wide variety of biltong.
Well, here's the deal. In Thailand, I haven't seen it much, but in Brazil, they would serve anything, any animal that you could think of, wild animal, you could get on a menu in most restaurants, especially on the churrascarias. When you would go to the churrascarias, they would serve everything, alligator, goat, you name it. They had
Oh,
it there.
they were selling alligator meat in Madagascar because they were raising alligators for their skins. So yeah, they had meat available. It's kind of orange. I've never eaten it. I mean, it looks pretty awful to be honest.
Alligator?
I've had ostrich, I've had impala, I've had kudu, I've had a lot of different game animals, rabbit. A lot of people don't eat rabbit. Rabbit is delicious.
Yeah, rabbit's great.
Yeah,
So
I've had rabbit once.
there's a place in Malibu that's got a lot of game animals. It's pretty good. And then
Really?
also up, yeah, it's oh man, what's it called? We had my birthday dinner there a couple weeks ago. Shit, I'll remember in a few minutes. While you guys are talking about something else,
Oh,
I'll
it's
find
called
it on.
shit. That's a great
No,
name
that's
for
not
a
shit. It's called
restaurant.
shit. Also in
Forgettable.
if you go north of Santa Barbara and you take the road over the mountain on the way to Solvang, there is
154
right. There's a little restaurant in there. It used to be a
in Santa Ynez or in
no, it's way before that. It's right at just over the mountain peak going out of Santa Barbara. It's an old horse and buggy station, and used to be a mail drop. And they have all the buildings are all original. And they have a restaurant there too. And I'll find that because both of those are really good.
San Marcos Pass. I was just up there.
It's right in San Marcos Pass.
Oh, San Marcos Pass up in Santa Barbara?
Yep.
Unbelievable. Really nice. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I haven't been in Santa Barbara in a while. That's beautiful up there.
It is gorgeous.
Yep. Anyway, so let's see. What else is going on?
I had a meal a couple months ago in a restaurant, and they had beast loaf. I thought, like, is this a meatloaf? And they said, you need to try it. So I had it. It has elk, deer, and buffalo all mixed together into a meatloaf. It was really good.
Yeah, it's probably great. Yeah.
Yeah, high in protein, low in sodium.
I tell you, good high protein, low fat is ostrich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Saddle Peak Lodge is the one on Malibu Canyon Road.
Oh, yeah. Saddle Peak Lodge, yeah.
And they have ostrich, and they have wild boar, and they have elk, and they have a bunch of stuff. And you can get the chef's platter that has all this stuff on it, and it's so damn good. And we were just there a couple of weeks ago. But sometimes it's a couple of month wait to get in, so you got to call ahead and make some reservations.
That's insane that you could wait a couple of months to get to a restaurant.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's not all that big, but I mean it's grown a little, but it's still not big compared to a lot of restaurants.
When the #1 restaurant was over in Denmark, I'll think of the name. It was elected 2 years in a row. It was 13 months waiting list, 14 months to get in.
Wow.
And then in El Bulli, the other one that was like a #1 was a place called El Bulli, which was just outside of Cadecas in next to the French-Spanish border, not that far across the border, heading towards Barcelona. That place was also like 1 year. to get in.
Now, I wonder if you eat those kind of exotic meats that you're free from eating those microplastics. I mean, right now they're saying that 90% of the animal and vegetable protein samples
Horrifying.
have tested positive for microplastics, according to a new study. These tiny polymer fragments have been found in many popular foods, which can pose dangers to the body. You guys, what do you think about that?
They've even found traces of microplastics in human brains during autopsies.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, but I think that basically right now there is a company. I think I saw that another story about this, that there's a company right now that has figured out a way to reduce that in the blood system. Brand new system, but I can't seem to find it.
Cold Springs Tavern.
Oh yeah, that's up on
San Marcos Pass.
Yep, I've been there.
They got rabbit stew, and they got all kinds of crazy stuff. It's so good.
Well, it's good that we have. It's good that we have that kind of wide variety of tastes and palates. You know, to supplement our palate. I wonder what kind of wine goes with that. Oh well.
Yeah, I wonder.
Have you ever had pig's feet or chicken feet?
I was eating pig's feet with my wife the other day. It took me a couple times to get to do it, but it wasn't too bad.
It's pretty good.
You know, if you go down to Brazil and you eat feijoada, you don't want to know what's in it. You just don't want to know what's in it. That's all I could say. You don't want to know, but it's a Brazilian delicacy. So, how many in the room drive an electric car? Anybody here drive an electric car? Anybody thinking of driving an electric car? Well, good. Right now, the Chinese, that BYD car, a friend of mine bought it. It's really amazing. It's got so many features. And though the brands, so basically, unplugged last year, China's BYD sold more EVs globally than Tesla. And though the brand's 10K cars aren't sold in America, the budget rides can technically be imported. But the U.S. government just said, hey, what's happening in these electric Chinese cars is that they're stealing your data. They're listening to what you're saying in the car, and they're broadcasting it back to China. So they're going to be
all the businesses in China are subject to CCP, whatever the fuck they want to do. So, you know, you got to be careful of that. Plus, I don't know, I've been just reading all about these electric cars in China. They're blowing up all over the place. And some of them just take off out of people's driveways and drive out into the middle of the road. They got videos of these people chasing their cars down the road and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then for all of the environmentalists that think that electric cars are fantastic, there was a semi test vehicle electric that caught fire in California.
Yeah, you can't put them out.
50,000 gallons of water to put out the fire, and all of that water created contamination. One vehicle.
Yeah.
But you aren't supposed to use water on the battery. You're supposed to do a foam.
They didn't have it, you know, and this thing's just burning out of control. So they 50,000 gallons of water was in the news. It was in the news journal.
And you know what? All along the 5 freeway in Burbank, they're putting up all these. They're just like, it's like a prison. They're putting up all these apartments, and they're like 10 stories high, and they're, you know, half a mile long all along the freeway. And you know they're going to put chargers in the basement of all those places, and boy, it's going to get really interesting, because when you add up that many chargers.
I think it's Korea that actually outlawed electrical vehicles from parking garages, if I'm not mistaken.
Inside, yeah, parking them inside. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can't take them on the plane with you. I guarantee you can't take one of these electric cars on the plane with you. That's for sure.
Well, they give you shit about batteries on the plane too.
It's time for me to go. We're all going out to dinner before we get to the hotel. So
all right, I'll see you. I'll talk to you later. And we'll see each other tomorrow.
Good seeing everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, David.
Have a good week.
Thanks. Tell George I can't wait to meet him.
So I saw a business finance story on China has overbuilt on electric cars, and there's a big glutton of them and are trying to dump them in places because they can't sell enough of them, even though Tesla's not selling, but that's why they've overrun Tesla in China, but they have a glutton of cars.
Same thing is happening in Germany. And they're basically saying that this 2035 mandate is impossible, that they've set for themselves to, go all electric in 2035.
Yeah, Chevy and Ford pretty much and Toyota brought all that to a halt. Well, have you seen the interviews with Elon about what CCP did to him in China? I mean,
Ford lost $5 billion and $4 billion respectively in the last 2 reporting years on EVs.
That's horrible.
Yep. Well, you know what? Build up our electrical system so that we don't have to shut our air conditioners off and not charge our cars at night, and I'll consider it. But
I'm putting in a windmill on my roof when I get back to Las Vegas. I'm putting a windmill up.
But there's a whole lot of things that got to get worked out before I start driving an electric car, and I will not drive a car with a battery that big as long as I'm alive, probably.
Yeah. But speaking of batteries, can you believe what happened with Israel and what Hezbollah with the
wasn't that just amazing?
I
was dumbfounded.
Thing ever.
And then right after the pagers, they blew up the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They apparently manufactured them themselves. It's just what an amazing story.
Wait. So you're saying that the
okay, I need to hear the story. Back up a second. Back up a second. I missed this whole thing.
So they found out, right? Go ahead, Chris, because you probably know a little more about this than I do.
Basically, in reverse order, the Hamas soldiers,
Hezbollah
rather, soldiers that basically live in the Bekaa Valley in southern Lebanon and hang out there and then cross over to do damage and so forth. They took delivery of something like 3,000 or 4,000 pagers, and these are low-tech paging devices, no geolocation.
You can't bust them. So that was the object.
Yeah, right. It was like the old drug days. I had a pager. No reason why, but I had a pager.
Analog, amps analog, original text. I mean, these things are really kind of very simplistic, but makes them untrackable and quite useful for the type of communication they're engaging in. So they bought these 3,000 or 4,000 from a company that was out of Turkey, I think, called BOC. And so they took delivery of them, they handed them all out, and then about a week ago, they all just exploded simultaneously. And we now understand that that the Mossad set up BOC and with the intent of doing this, and they manufactured real pagers and sold them, and so people were using the technology and it was working fine and everything was great. And they obviously,
it was Belarus, by the way, Belarus.
Yeah, in Belarus. But at any rate, so they eventually somehow they got the order, and they had mixed PETN, which is a very high explosive plastic explosive, in with the lithium batteries, such that they were undetectable, and shipped them to Lebanon, and they got all handed out, and they blew them up simultaneously because they all had good clocks. So,
and then they did it. Then they did it with the walkie-talkies.
Yeah, so there was a funeral for a guy. There was a funeral for a guy who died from a pager explosion, and while they're at the funeral, his walkie-talkie explodes.
Wow, I mean that's the bomb. I mean that's literally the bomb.
But how many people did they get?
3,000. And injured with varying degrees of injury, but obviously most of these things were placed in their pockets. So a couple of guys got some damage to the front half of their bodies, and
oh man, they blew their cock off. That's it. Yeah. I cut your cock off, man. Boom. I mean, that was like something. They not only did they injure them, but they kept them from reproducing. That's it. That's it.
I guess they can't shun the trans people anymore because
yeah. Oh man. But you know what's interesting? So I was listening to one of my tech shows, and what this is going to do is this is going to slow down the US government in putting regulations on like Apple that, who because basically everything now has to be signed electronically. Otherwise, they could do that, you could put a pager on a plane. So now everything is going to be really, Chris, you can get into it here because you know more about it, how electronics are signed so that you can't do what they did in Lebanon.
Well, the all of the major air carriers in that section of the world banned cell phones and pagers on board.
So what are you supposed to do with them? Stick them in your checked luggage?
Yeah,
Which
you're
they
not
don't
allowed
want.
to, not allowed
They,
to, not allowed to bring with you. So it just kind of fucks everything up. But yeah,
I mean,
they
they don't
had no
want batteries
choice.
in your checked luggage either. Crazy.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and,
guys,
and, and I mean,
I
what
gotta
are you going
go.
to do? You're going to send it FedEx, so it's going to be on the plane anyway with you,
Have
so
a
it's
great week,
insane.
Bruce.
I gotta
All right,
go.
Bruce,
Love you
thanks for
guys.
coming.
See you
Thank
next
you,
week.
Bruce.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Bring it on? I mean, if you ship something FedEx or U.S. mail, you don't think it's on the bottom of the plane?
Well, that's what they did that. Remember the Hewlett Packard printers that had explosives in them, and they intercepted that, but they were trying to blow up an air freighter. That was like a while back, but yeah, these were HP printers that originated in kind of a shaky place, and they got super inspected as a result, and they found plastique in the toner cartridge. So these things in the barometric, switch, these things were going to take down the air freight plane.
That's
So yeah,
insane.
they scan everything now, and they look for all sorts of signatures, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's insane what's going on in the world right now. I mean it's crazy. But I couldn't imagine traveling without my cell phone or my laptop or my iPad. I mean, how could I travel?
Yeah, at some point you gotta wonder. Well, I think they have limits on the size of lithium batteries that you can bring on board, and you're not allowed to check any into your baggage. You have to have them in the cabin so that they can isolate them if something goes wrong. But yeah, it's crazy times, man. Crazy
Well,
times.
supposedly it's not pressurized in where the luggage goes. So that's why they don't let them in there.
Well, yeah. Plus, they just had that happened right here in the U.S. There was a domestic flight in the U.S. where they got a smoke detector warning in the cargo bin, and they literally had everybody sit down, and they just went 45 degrees and got straight down, and got the plane on the ground as fast as they could.
Right.
But yeah, if you're flying from here to Hawaii, there aren't very many options.
Nope, there are. Hey, look at this. You see this? You see this? This is a power brick. It's small. I mean, it's really super thin, very, very, very thin. Anyway, I was traveling and I'd forgotten I had this in my suitcase. And I don't remember where it was, but they called my name on the plane and they say, "Hey, Mr. Landy, yeah, we found a charger in your luggage. You have two choices. We could either take it out of your luggage and destroy it, or you can get off the plane with your suitcases and we could deal with it." I said, "Throw it in the bin, get rid of it. I'm not going anywhere. I'd forgotten all about it." But this is how small they do have the ability to detect this in your luggage.
They can find they can find a needle in a haystack with the scanners they've got, because there's no humans around, so they really bombard them with everything. So yeah, they know everything in your baggage.
Yeah, that's right. Good thing they didn't catch that pound a kilo of what that
Yeah,
contraband
right.
I
Yeah,
had the other day.
they just pushed the blow aside and got the battery out.
Yeah, that's it. Put the blow aside and give me, grab the battery out of it. So what else is new? All right. So
Where are you
before
at,
we
Jandy?
go,
Are you in Vegas?
I'm in Baltimore.
Baltimore. Oh, okay.
I'm Baltimore. It was good seeing you
You came to
yesterday.
Vegas for a little while. I missed a few of your weeks.
I was there. I was in Vegas for about 10 days, then Los Angeles for 3, and now I'm in Baltimore, and then I'll be back on the points unknown I will definitely be back in Las Vegas. By the way, you're all invited to the wedding when we have it. So, just remember, we'll probably Zoom it just to be sure that everybody attends. But speaking of which, it was good to see you yesterday in Scoville's room. Very, very good. You were very outspoken once again. I love it.
For the few minutes I could be there, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it was interesting about the broadcast because it's hard to get a word in edgewise there. But the reality is that most broadcasts that I watch on TV, they always sound horrible.
Yeah. No, it just amazes me that how many times I run into this. I mean, they're using these desks where you're not listening to what you're actually sending to the world, and it's just I don't understand how people get away with it.
Well, I think my thought process, without knowing anything, is they're probably feeding it into a room of the client. The client themselves are approving the signal that's going out, and they probably have no idea of what they're listening to anyway, because they're doing business at the time, and so they're really not paying attention.
Well, like I told Robert, I mean, in my world, the producer and director are listening in their headset. So first of all, they're listening to a mono mix because the speakers in the room are generally turned down because you got 6 or 8 people in that room doing whatever they're doing, and they don't need it really loud, otherwise they have to speak louder. And like I was saying to Robert, is how do you? Somebody told him to listen to the return, right?
Right.
Well, why is that not the mono mix that the other people are listening to? That's why I say it's crazy because most of the people don't listen to what's actually going to air, and especially with these consoles now, like the Yamahas and the they're basically large matrix consoles. They don't have any subgroups. Everything just gets pushed to the mix, right? So unless you go check every one of those mixes, there are faders that can be pre-fader, there are faders that can be post-fader, there can be faders that are EQ'd differently on that layer.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that you just go, okay, well, everything's assigned to the stereo bus. They should all be the same. It's not true. Unless you go through and unity gain out all 20 layers or whatever it is of the desk, some are going to be, especially with Yamahas, they all come on with pre-fader. Everything comes up pre-fader. So any console, any signal you put into the desk is going to show up on the stereo bus pre-fader. You have zero control with that fader that you're moving up and down.
Yeah.
So,
one thing I will say is that in Ken Porter, I mean, the Grand Ole Opry, they still put out a radio show every week?
Oh yes,
I'm sure they do.
And how do they handle their broadcast? Because it sounds good.
Well, for years we had a need room in there, split or whatever, and it's just doing the stereo mix for broadcast for radio. And they now have a what is it? No, they have a Soundcraft. No, did they do the Soundcraft that they did? What did Soundcraft own for a while? Harman made a deal.
I think they had Studer.
Studer, yeah, they put a Studer in there, but it's just a stereo mix only, like a recording mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what was that guy's name? I think his name was Garth something, that he had this traveling show. I think he passed away, but every week he had a show that he broadcast from somewhere else. I can't remember his name. You know who I'm talking about? And he traveled the show around. He was a country western guy. He would tell stories, and it was usually broadcast on NPR.
Oh, this is the guy from Minnesota.
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, he eventually lost that show because he was credibly accused of sexual misconduct.
God, I didn't know he worked for P. Diddy. Unbelievable. Now I just learned something new. Unbelievable. Oh, there we go. Well, with that, I think we'll say goodbye to the listening world. I think they've had enough. Oh, Kurt's here. Hey, Kurt. Hey.
Kurt's back from mixing. And now I got to figure out the name of my phone.
Before you go, so tell me something. We've been looking at that gamble board, and I have to tell you, it looks pristine. How many hours have you put in on that console to make it look that pristine?
This one has 200 hours about. Every nut, bolt, screw, everything that could go in an ultrasonic bath did. It's been completely disassembled down to its both base parts and then completely cleaned with a couple different specific cleaners, and then all the faders were disassembled and the rods and wipers were cleaned and the conductive plastic, everything. Anything that could be taken apart was taken apart.
Well, it looks amazingly clean, and that's your personal board, right? You don't let anybody touch that but you.
I've let some support guys use it sometimes, but not without me there.
Good. Well, it's beautiful.
It's my personal one.
It's beautiful, and
It
it looked good. It was the star of the show today.
I was mixing we're doing we have one more show, Dwight Yoakam, on Saturday. But this was the kind of the end of the year party.
Hey, you're muted out there, right?
For the whole crew. Hang on. No, they've got house music going.
Where's the house music coming from? I mean, the stage. We can start unplugging the stage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. With the end of the year wrap up party for all the crews. It was the whole crew, all the stage hands and catering and merch and all those people, and then the band. The stage hands have a band called the Hands, so they played, and that's what I was mixing.
Oh, nice.
Well, it looks beautiful. That tent looks really beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great, nice, big, spacious tent. They take the walls off, when it's nice weather. It was kind of windy today, so we left them up.
Yeah, very, very nice. What's the headroom on that tent? 16 feet?
Probably 12 feet.
Really, really super nice. Very, very, very nice.
Yeah, it's got great.
Is that
I
10
want to talk
dB?
more.
Floor with a trench, cable run, can all be underneath the riser.
Wow, very impressive. Very, very impressive. See, Wayne, what you could do with money? Amazing. That's what you could do if you have money.
So the headroom on the tent, is it 10 dB or 24 dB?
Hey, Wayne, we did what the hell's it? Crowded House the other night.
Oh, audio.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I knew all the hits, of course, but I had no idea that the other stuff was quite as interesting as it turned out to be.
They got some great songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so was that the because he was doing some touring with Fleetwood Mac for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he filled in for Lindsay, but that's all over.
Crowded
This
House,
was actually Crowded House.
Crowded House, a great band, and they did a live show at the opera on the steps of the Opera House about I can't remember when it was now, probably 4 years ago. Well, it could even be 5 years ago, but it was a fantastic show, and they televised it. It's fantastic.
I gotta go, gents.
All right, keep playing the drums. I love that Play-Doh.
See you, Chris. Have a good week.
Play drums. Very good, Chris. Talk to you soon. Thank you for coming, and thank you for. And with that, let me just say goodbye to everybody now on the streaming world. We'll stay in the room and we'll keep talking, for a while because we always do that. We'll just keep talking because we're talkers. But in the meantime, remember, you make it happen. This has been our 226 show in a row. Next week will be, if you could add by one, it'll be 227. And remember, you make it happen. Stay safe, stay healthy, get your PSA checked, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now, everybody. And we're stopping the stream, and we are stopping the record.